What's up, my folks? I hope y'all are doing great. I got a pretty good video I think I'm fixing to lay out for you. We're going to talk about paperwork real quick first. All you guys that got puppies from them last litters, get with me. I got the paperwork. But I want you guys to call me. I have some options for you. So make sure I talk to you, okay? Call me on the phone, whatever. Text me. Make sure I get in touch with you because I want to make sure we got everything straight, and I'm going to give you guys a couple options because those dogs will be like triple registered. So, you got options. So call me because I want to get them all out at the same time. As far as, okay, I don't want anyone to turn this into I'm bashing anybody because I'm not, all right? The ADBA papers are just beautiful papers. I mean, they feel good. They give you a nice little certificate, a nice pedigree sheet. It's a great system. They've always been real good to me. They've always made sure everything was straight, give me phone calls or whatever. And they're also SDR registered. That's another good registry. And it's the same way. Good people, good deal with. So I'm not knocking anybody. But what I'm fixing to do is I'll show you guys. I'm fixing to take all the dogs. Actually, the owner of the organizations will be coming by here in a little while. That's why I went ahead and figured I'd do this video first. So you guys give me a call. I'm going to have several different options you can do. But it's a nice certificate. You know, it gives you a good looking little certificate. And you can get a little sheet too, or a big sheet, or whatever you want. You know, the breeder's copy or whatever. But that's a good way to do it. But I'm gonna give you an example of the pedigree. Okay, we'll get down in here. Y'all can read it. All right, I want y'all to notice something, that there's no titles. Okay, they don't recognize titles. Any titles, any breed. I don't think they even recognize breeding titles, and that was what attracted me to it. The guys, it's a smaller organization, and basically, a registration for me is to keep a good, accurate records, and that's it. You know what I mean? I don't need anyone to use any kind of paperwork against me, and that seems to be what's happening. Okay, I'm letting you guys know we have a bunch of overzealous prosecutors and really judges that kind of turn their head to the law, and you got to have them using simple things like champion Jeep or Grand Champion Jeep or Buck or anything that's on a paper, even though it's way back there, Chinaman, Champion Chinaman. That's what they're using to say, look, these are fighting dogs. This is a fighting dog organization. Which I know it sucks, but I've always said them titles are no good. That's what the Achilles heel is on a lot of these pedigrees. Everyone wants to put up titles, and I get it. You want your dogs to show off the pedigrees of the great dogs in behind them. And I'm the first one to admit that the best catch dogs come from the best old bloods that were the fighting bloods, okay? And it's nice to know what's in them. But the real dogmen know. And I don't want to be able to have somebody come in and pull out a drawer and have some paperwork that I had nothing to do with the dogs that was in them. You know what I'm saying? I'm just breeding dogs to catch hogs with, and they use that against me. Now, I'm not trying to scare tactic anybody. I don't want anyone to get freaked out. Oh, my papers are on. I'm just doing this for me because I have seen and talked to enough people lately, and that has been the issue. Okay? And that's what they're using, and I don't care what no one said. That's what they've been using to get warrants and to take dogs is paperwork with those kind of titles. So that's why I'm going to go with historical, because they're just using the paperwork for records and historical breeding purposes, so you can keep good records. They're not recognizing breeding titles, no performance titles, and no show titles. No, that's another thing. They'll turn things around now. They don't understand these dogs. You see show grand champion this, or and they don't understand when ADBA champion. They don't know what the fuck that means. That's a warrant. They get a warrant. So that's one of the reasons, like, all the dogs on my yard from now on out have them kind of paperwork with my paperwork here, but they are registered. All my dogs are also registered through these other organizations, and they will remain registered with them. We'll continue using them. I'm just going to basically go mainly with, when I dogs going all through historical. That's the way I'm going to do it, because that's what's been going down. But you know, as far as like the dogs we're breeding, I'll show you how it looks. Some of these dogs look like this one here is the Choco Taco and Cherry. We'll go fast. Choco Taco's off of Whitehead and Oprah, and Whitehead's off of City Slick, Saigon the Bull, and Looney Tunes Miss Keys. Oprah's off of Triangle Grains Grip and Loose Cannon Boy Xena. I mean, O'Reilly's name, but then you got Bring the Pains Bullet, Silver Bullet, and Bring the Pains Fancy. City Slicks Bogart, Looney Tunes Miss Jackson, China Games Houdini, Rendell Hall's Cody. You know what I'm saying? The Xena bitches off the what you call them? Gang Dog Inc.'s Hugo and Tibet. So yeah, and then on the bottom side we got, you know, Cherry Bomb 2s off the Red Baron and the Crisis, and off Yellow Bull Macy, and Jack Sparrow Bella, you know, Macho Bear 2, Jody's Red Pirate, Miss Blitz, Drake, May, all that shit. But yeah, that's how them dogs were put together. I had a few questions on them pups, them red ones. That's why they look like that. They're off that red, a lot of red blood, a lot of good stuff in them. But you know, that's another. That's all these right now are fixing to be registered through the other registry as well. But that's why I'm doing it. That's why the paperwork around the house here is going to be through historical, because I mean it's just a fear of mine. I know some people just trip out, got their papers, and I understand, but if you're worried about the paperwork more than a dog, that you're not in the right thing. You know what I'm saying? If some people are into these dogs just to chase the titles, and that's a shame. Because, you know, you don't just need to breed for titles anyway. You need to breed for your dogs. I mean, but anyhow, that's what's going on with it. I mean, and that's the flat ass truth now. We can talk to, I've done talked to enough people, then that's exactly what they told me. When they go to asking for papers, that's what they mean. They're asking for papers. Let's walk out here real quick. What's up, girl? What's up, girl? Yeah, that's just how it's been lately. So that's what we're doing with the paperwork anyhow. So you guys that all got pups off of me, call me. I want to give you guys some options. And like I said, we got some back, but we can go any route you want to go. I'm just giving you options. I'll single register to anywhere you want on them. But anyhow, all right, let's talk a little bit about about dogs. I've been on a lot of good hunts lately. I've got to see a lot of people's dogs in action and catching and running, and it's been fun, and I appreciate going everywhere. Okay, and but I'm not one to tell a man how to do things, especially when you got some old timers there, you know, and you don't want to really. I'm just there to see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And has nothing to. No bearing to me on my dog, because none of my dogs were hunted, you know. But I've seen, and I've heard from a couple people too lately. You guys that are coming into this, understand something. There's a few basic things that people forget. They get excited. I don't know, but they get excited and forget a few things, or they get overzealous thinking that their dogs are just so great and everything's going to work out perfect and be rosy. But that's not the world we live in. Y'all know that, okay? One of the first things I've seen lately, and I know this sounds crazy, but dogs being, you know, when them dogs quit, I've seen a few dogs on people's shit quit lately. And when they're quitting, and the one thing they had in common, all three of them, them motherfuckers didn't empty them out. Okay? I mean, pissing don't mean emptying out. I asked one of the boys, I said, you empty that dog out? He said, oh yeah, she peed. I didn't say anything. I'm like, well, you know, it's not my place to tell people how to do their dogs, you know, but yeah. When you got a dog with a gut full of shit, especially if they've been waiting in the dog box and been riding and finally getting to a hog, you want to make sure that dog's emptied out before you cast out, especially when you casting out in the open like that. You don't know how long they're going to run before you know what I'm saying? You don't know if they're going to break and haul ass. Your dog needs to not have a belly full of shit. If it has a belly full of shit, you're going to give about, a good dog might give you 15 minutes. And then that motherfucker's going to blow hot and he's not going to be able to come out of it. And you're going to come around the corner, he's going to be standing in the middle of the road looking stupid. I mean, maybe I've seen a couple. When they start shitting, when they're hunting hanging on the hog and you see shit coming out of them, they're full of shit. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no other way to say it. What's up, baby? Don't make me get that popper on you. I'll get. Oh yeah, and them damn. I'm down to one of them now, guys. That little fucking black bitch. I put her on it, and that little Turtle Buster Jeep bitch. I put her on it, and she stood up like a cat when I vibrated it and swatted it off and got a hold of it and went to attacking it, and so I'm down to one now. It was shocking her ass the whole time she was biting. I couldn't do nothing for her. She wouldn't let me get in there to it. Finally, I tried to snatch the cord and the collar, and it just came off of it. She had a hold of it in her mouth, buzzing her. Crazy dogs. But yeah, that's one thing, man. You don't want your dog, and dehydrated too. I mean, there's a fine line hunting them. Wet is not good, but you'd rather have a little wet than dehydrated. I'm gonna tell you that right now. They ain't gonna be strong for shit. They're going. And another thing I've seen, if you got a dog and you're working for a big hunt, and I understand you got to put a deposit in the hunt. It might be the only time you get to hunt that year. It's exciting. You want to go out with your little dog and you want to perform and catch you a nice hog, and have the pictures and smile on Facebook or whatever you do with it. But if you have that dog and you're putting him in a come-up program, getting the couch fat off of him, and you run him hot and you stale him up, okay? Just fucking ask to move the deposit to another hunt. That's another thing. Them dogs, I mean, if you get them fucked up, it takes a long time for them to be right. You ain't just gonna be like, oh man, he's got a couple weeks, I'll take it easy with him. And on the other end of that spectrum, if you're working a dog and never hunt him and put him up, and then somebody calls and says, let's go hunting, and you finally get him and he's been in the pen for 2 weeks and he hadn't had nothing but dog food and got a belly full of it, that's a recipe for disaster. All that shit is a recipe for disaster. I mean, be smart about them, guys. You done raising them up. You done good with them. Like I said, I don't know anything about the breedings on none of the dogs that I've seen hunt lately, but I know that you ain't gonna turn a a cur into a game dog and a great hunter if he's a piece of shit anyway. But some of the dogs would have probably not been so poor if it would have been more of a handlers and conditioners and owners kind of understanding. Now I mean that now. If y'all got one and y'all got him worked out and you overheat his ass, it's a wrap. You got to get that. He's got to get right again. I mean, you can't just give him a few. I've seen great dogs that just didn't do worth a shit because of that. They get hot or eat something. Hell, that was Rex. This motherfucker ate a sock. They hunted him. They didn't know he had the sock in him until on the way he shit it out. Hush. Imagine how flat he was. They said he had to run for 15 minutes before he even got close. So, he was flat. Shut up, loudmouth. You so jealous. But anyway, let's talk about some interviews, okay? I was speaking with old Joe the other day. We'll get on that too. That's kind of a wild situation right now. And he spoke about doing an interview with Ricky Jones. And I'm like, hell yeah, I'd love to hear what Ricky Jones has to say about these dogs, And before anybody says anything, it's like this, that was all drugs and stuff. Man, that shouldn't even been part of the dogs in the first place. I'm of that theory. Don't fuck with them damn dogs if you're gonna fuck around like that. You know what I mean? But that was all that. We're gonna keep it about the dogs because I can give a shit about none of that. Had nothing to do with me. I don't really know the situation. I don't know nothing about it. And I don't care to know. I just want to hear the history of these dogs and some of these dogs and the people in them and all that. That to me is what it's about. I can give a fuck about any of that other drama. All right? I ain't worried about shit because I don't do nothing wrong. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't care if I'm fucking talking to a cop. You know what I mean? It's all I want to know is the history of them and the truth about shit. That's it. That's all I care about. I don't care about none of that other shit. So, If y'all like to fucking hear what Ricky Jones has to say, give me a thumbs up. That's what I want to see. I want to see a bunch of thumbs up if y'all want to hear some one of the. And as far as I'm concerned, Ricky had fucking outstanding animals. Outstanding. I had a Sundance dog that was, when I was real young, that was a bad motherfucker, man. And he was a hell of a dog, man. Any other shit aside, he was a hell of a competitor, a hell of a dog, man. And he rubbed elbows with, you know, top flight dog, man. And I just like to see what's up. See, I ain't got my remote. That's what you got to deal with. That's that red shit. No one wants to believe me. Shit's retarded on the barking now. But shut up, Cherry. I'm not right there with her ass. But anyhow, I think that'd be a great interview hearing about some of them dogs. I mean, maybe he'll talk a little bit about Shady Lady, you know, some of his famous dogs, and some of his dogs that he probably liked that weren't as famous, you know. I'd like to hear all that shit, man. That's why I like talking to them older dogmen that, you know, that's a generation before me, you know what I'm saying? That's when it was really hopping. That's when if he would have stuck with dogs, not fucked with any of the shit. Now, I ain't judging nobody or chastising anybody or saying, you know, looking back 20/20 hindsight. But, I mean, think about it. If Ricky Jones would have never got into that other shit and just messed around with the dogs, he'd be famous. Y'all be talking about him like he'd be like a Tom Garner in the dog. You know what I'm saying? Breeder and everything. I mean, hell, he was fair as fuck with the prices. I got old journals I used to see with his ads in them. He was more fair with his yard than damn near anybody. So, yeah, let's get him on, and I hope y'all can listen to what he has to say, and you know, with an open mind, not stupid shit, because I mean, half of you don't even know what the fuck happened other than what you hear online. That's where I'm at. I don't know none of that shit. So anyway, like I said, if y'all want to hear from him, we'll tell him to come on down. We'll see a bunch of thumbs ups on this video. Otherwise, I won't bother him, man. You know, it's kind of like that. But anyway, folks, yeah, take your dogs and have a little bit of common sense with them. That's a tip. Don't forget the basics. I think my traps are dyed. Black as coal now. But that's the basics on these dogs is keeping it simple and realistic. I mean, and you never got so bad a dog that you can overlook the little things. Okay, you never do. Don't think you do. The dogs are not. You'll get on something, man. Just like with the little bitch down in Florida. That bitch was a superstar coming up. You know, we got to go over that too with Corey and let him tell you that story. You know, another dog that really didn't have no business being a catch dog. Guy was using them American Bulldogs. Went in and caught on the hog, right? And then wasn't there very long. I'm telling you, a bad hog will see the cur in your dog. It'll run the cur out. And the little dog come back through, past him, so he let little Lucille go. Well, she slipped up in there and got in the hog like, she's smart. She'll got up under the jaw, and like Pancake Alley say, and then that other dog, I guess, heard her catching that hog grunting, and he swooped back around and went in and then tried to jockey in her spot. You know how fucking, and next thing you know, her two teeth are broke out. You know, it's just fucked up. But you know, that's what happens these dogs. I don't care how bad you think your dog is. You'll get on one that'll fucking flatten him out. It'll pull the cur out of him if you ain't ready, and if he ain't ready. He might be game, but he'll be dead game. You know, they can't be slow, sluggish. You know, they got all them toxins building up. I'm telling you, about 15 minutes, a really good dog might could pull about 20 minutes with a belly full of shit before they start leaking. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be rough. But anyway, folks, y'all take care, and y'all keep on bulldogging. Y'all stay safe, and I'm going to look back on here in a couple of days and see what kind of, or in a day or two, and see what kind of lights we have, if it's even worth wasting the man's time. But he would be a very interesting video, and with a lot of real hands-on experience of some outstanding dogs through history. But anyway, folks, take care and keep on bulldogging.